Good morning, my dear students of class 6, and I am happy to welcome you all to today's zoology class. In today's class, we are going to learn the topic adaptations in desert animals. What is the topic for today? Adaptations in desert animals. It is in page number 109 in your textbook. Actually, the previous part of this lesson, this is from the lesson Adaptations in Habitat. The previous topic from this lesson was taught in your botany class because it was about adaptations in desert plants. So I made it in the botany class, and since this topic is related to animals, I have made in the zoology class. Clear? So what is the topic for today? Adaptations in desert animals. Usually, I have told in the botany class itself about adaptations in desert is a tough life survival in desert is a tough aspect because of the limited water resource and also because of the high temperature. All life survival itself is a difficult task, right? So how plants and animals manage to live there? Living of plants itself is a challenge, and how do animals manage to survive in a desert? So about animal adaptations only we will be learning in this class. Clear? So the first adaptation what animals use to survive in the desert is they remain inside the burrows. What is the first adaptation? They remain inside the burrows. What is a burrow? Burrow is a hole made by usually small animals. They dig the soil, they make a hole-like structure and go inside and live there. So that is a burrow. The habitat for such animals is the burrow itself. Habitat means the living place, right? So such animals living place itself is a burrow, and examples given in your textbook, there are two examples given. One is rattlesnakes and the next one is kangaroo rats. See, this is a rattlesnake and this one is the kangaroo rats. So rattlesnakes and kangaroo rats are those which can remain inside the burrows and they live in the deserts. See, for every type of adaptation, you will have examples. You are expected to memorize the examples. You should know these are all maybe new terms, kangaroo rats, all rats but the variety of the rat also you have to memorize for your exam point of view. So what do they do? As I told you, they rattlesnakes and kangaroo rats, they make holes, they make burrows and remain inside. Okay, if they remain inside the burrow, how it helps the animals in getting adapted to the environment? By remaining inside the burrow. By remaining inside the burrow, they can escape from the heat. They do this only because they have to avoid the high temperature that exists on the surface region. That's why they dig the burrow and go inside to escape from the heat. And if they are going to stay inside, how will they get their feed? How do they eat? How will they live? How will they keep themselves alive? They will search for prey during the evenings. When the temperature comes down, during that time they will come out of the burrow and they will go and search for the prey. So what have we studied about the first adaptation? The first adaptation is to remain inside the burrows. Example for animals which can live inside the burrows are rattlesnakes and kangaroo rats. And why do they do this? They remain inside the burrow to escape from the high temperature that prevails in the desert. And when do they search their prey? They search their prey during the evenings when the sunlight is down or when the temperature is low. So the next adaptation is scales on body. Certain animals in the desert will have scales on their body. See, this one, it is called thorny devil lizard. It is a type of lizard, but it has thorn-like structures on its surface. It is technically called as scales, though it appears like thorn. Since it appears as thorn, it is called by the name thorny devil. Okay. So what do? They have the tendency to collect dew drops. This thorn-like structure, no? Just like how in the edges of the leaves, all you must have seen dew drops, no? If something is pointed, dew drops will be collected and it will drip from that edges, no? Similarly, because of the scales structure, they will also collect the dew drops on the thorn-like scales, and then that water is taken in. They drink that dew drops whenever there is water shortage. So that is an adaptation of thorny devil type of lizard. The third adaptation in desert animals is the presence of large ears. See these two animals, can you see very large ears? So what are the names of these two animals? One is called jackrabbit. This one's name is jackrabbit. It is a type of rabbit with very long ears, and the next type is a type of fox called as fennec fox. This one is fennec fox. So jackrabbit and fennec fox are those which have very long ears. So in what way these long ears are going to help these animals to survive themselves in the desert? See, when there are long ears, the blood vessels in the ears will also be more. Okay, the more the number of blood vessels, if the number of blood vessels are going to be more in the ears, then the release of heat through the blood vessel is also going to be more. So desert is a hot place, right? So the heat from the animal's body has to be released by some way. Only then the animal can manage to live in that hot temperature, right? So the presence of these long ears with more number of blood vessels will make the animal to release more heat through the blood vessels of the ears. Okay, so jackrabbit and fennec fox have long ears with more blood vessels which will help them to release excess body heat. So this is the third adaptation. The fourth adaptation is making burrows underground. Already making of burrows for some other purpose. For what we studied, the first adaptation itself I told making burrows, right? So what did we study there? They just remain inside to stay cool. That is the first adaptation. To prevent, to stay away from the heat, they remain under the burrows we have studied. Certain animals, they make deep underground burrows, like they dig very deep and stay underground, and examples for that is meerkats. See, these are meerkats. I don't know if you have seen this. So meerkats, what they do, these meerkats, what they do is they make the burrow till underground, like very deep they make their burrow, and they have two advantages of doing this. The first advantage is they use the underground water. Usually underground will have water table, no, from there it will take the water, because water will not be available on the surface regions in the desert, no, so it will take the water. And the second advantage is they start eating the roots of the plants. Certain roots will be below the ground level, no, so they make the burrow, and when they don't have any feed to eat, they start eating the roots of plants, and somehow they manage to survive. This is the fourth adaptation. So what we have studied about meerkats, meerkats are those which make underground burrows. By making such underground burrows, they have two benefits. One is they take in the water which is present underground, and the second advantage is they start eating the roots of the plants which are available in the underground regions. And the last one, as we all know, the most predominant animal in the desert is the camel, no, the sheep of the desert is the camel. So what are the adaptations in camel, and why you can find more number of camels in a desert place? They have many adaptations when compared to other animals. Camels have many adaptations. The first adaptation is they have double eyelids. They have double eyelids. Usually animals have only one eyelid. No, this one is an exception with double eyelid. So how this double eyelid will help the camel to survive in the desert? The presence of double eyelids will help the sand from entering into their eyes. It will protect their eyes from the sand. In deserts usually we have sandstorms all, no? So since it is surviving in the desert environment, these eyelids will protect them from the sand, protect their eyes from the sand. The second adaptation what camels have is they have slit nostrils. The slit nostrils also help them by preventing the sand from entering into their nostrils, that is the nose. The first adaptation is they have double eyelids, so that protects their eyes from the sand entering inside. And the second adaptation in camels is they have slit nostrils, which will protect their nose from the entry of sand. And the third adaptation in camels is they have feet which are disc-like. The feet is like a disc, and this protects their feet or protects the animal itself from sinking into the soil. Usually a desert sand, or if you keep your legs on the sand, it will be sinking inside, no? The next adaptation in camels is the presence of hump. Which is the hump? This is the hump, right? So this is a unique structure which you can see only in camels. Mostly you don't find humps in other animals, right? Only in camels we see this. So what is the special feature of hump? Hump stores fat. So the fat is all stored in the hump, and whenever there is no water, when water availability is not there, this will help the animal to survive. The presence of fat will help the animal to survive during the conditions when there is lack of water. So this is about the hump. And one more adaptation you have. Camels have a unique property, that is they can consume large quantities of water in one go. In one go means one time when they take in the water, they will consume very large quantities when compared to other animals, so that they can have so much of water stored in their body until the water is available for the next time. So what are the adaptations we have studied in camel? In camel, they have a hump which will store the fat, and this will help them to survive during scarcity of water. And also camels have the property to take in large quantity of water in one go, so that one time if they consume water itself, so much of water can be stored in their body until water is available for the next time. And also the eyelids are double eyelids, and so that it gives protection to the eyes from the sand. And the nostrils are slit nostrils, so that it gives protection to the nose from the entry of sand into the respiratory system. And one more is they have disc shaped legs, so that it helps them to walk stable without their legs being sinked into the soil or the sand in the desert. So what have we studied in today's class? We have studied about the adaptations present in the animals that survive in the desert. The first adaptation what we have studied is the survival of animals inside the burrows. So certain animals can survive, remain inside the burrows, and by this they can protect themselves from the external heat. And how do they feed? They can feed during the evening time. They go for their prey and they manage to get their prey. And one more type of survival in the burrows is certain animals will make their burrow deep underground, so that they can take in the water from the underground, as well as they feed on the plants, roots which are available underground. And one more adaptation, what did we learn? There are some animals which will have very long ears, and these long ears will have a large number of blood vessels, and if there are large number of blood vessels in the ears, this will protect them from the body heat, like the body heat will be released through the blood vessels. And the last adaptation what we have studied is about adaptations in camels, the most predominant animal. What all we studied? Their double eyelids and slit nostrils, hump, disc shaped feet, and intake of large water quantity will help these animals to survive in the desert. So we have studied about the adaptations of animals in the desert. For your homework, what you are going to do, you will read page number 109. This is from the lesson Habitat and Adaptations. So read this page 109, read thoroughly, and after this lesson is complete, I will be giving you worksheets. So that is all for today's class. Until I meet you in your next class, you all take care and bye bye.